And we're almost live, I guess. If you're around, if you can listen and hear me, let me know if the sound is okay. Two laptops. Oh, maybe because it's post. Yeah. Good. Great. Great. Video quality. I changed the settings a bit, so I'm not sure if it's that good. Yeah. Thanks, James. Oh, there you go. I'm live. All right, so I got about an hour for you guys. So if you have any questions for me about my gear, one of my photos, I'd be more than happy to answer that. So let's do that. Yeah, let me just put that away. Yo, yo, yo. How you doing, guys? Yeah, that is a bit unplanned, but yeah, well, let me show you what I got. Meanwhile, you can think of whatever you guys want to ask. So, all right, so yeah. Thought maybe talk about lighting a little. Is there a way to? Amazing. I'm loving the Sony a7 III. It's perhaps the best camera I've ever had in my life. In comparison to the a7R II and the 3, this one has like a perfect balance between photo and video. And the file sizes are really good for what I'm doing. It's not 42 megapixels. 24 is more than enough. It's less intensive on the CPU and Photoshop. It's perfect. I'm loving it. Video, photos, the battery life. Yeah, it's perfect. I kind of did. So how did I get into photography? I mean, I used to have, everyone has a camera right now, right? But I never understood how to set it up manually. I did everything on auto. Although it's worth to mention that I went into video first and then moved to photo, and directly into car photography. And just the way I learned it is just by examples, just going out there, trying things, and experiment. Give it a try. Give it, fail once, fail twice. Eventually, you'll get it. But yeah, that's how I started. Favorite lens? Got it right here. Got it right here. Hang on. Get this back. Where is it? Let me put the lenses out. So these are the lenses. New gear and stuff. Oh, this is Big Daddy down here. So, 24-105, my favorite lens. F4 G lens. I would use it 99% of the time. A CPL filter on top, and we're good to go. Very sharp, loving the quality. Yeah. I have the 70-200 f2.8 that cost a fortune. I hope I never drop this. Saying that, let's keep it there. This is the 85, is it? Yeah, f1.885. Good for shallow depth of field. Mainly, it's good for portraits. Yeah, it's amazing. The A7 III, I think, is perfect balance. And for the price, what you're getting in the A7 III, I mean, I tried the 5D Mark III back then, and then moved to the, well, Sony, and then tried the 1DX Mark II. My problem with the 1DX Mark II, size, battery, CF cards, is just too huge to carry around. It costs a lot to get the storage. Though the quality is really good. I really loved that camera, but it was just too much, too big, too huge. And I love the color that Canon has in video. It's amazing. Let me check. I moved into a well, I changed my laptop into an iMac desktop, and I'm not sure if I can find something, but yes, actually I do have. So this is the P1, the shoot for the P1. This was shot with the A7 III. This is loading remotely from my laptop, which is connected to the external hard drive. The thing is with Apple, they keep on changing ports. Now I can't connect to a Thunder port, so let it load. Once it's loaded, I'm going to show it to you. It'll be Photoshop. This is gonna take ages. There you go. There you go. That's with the A7 III. That's shot with Profoto B1 strobe. Okay. I don't know why it keeps on going down. Yeah, that's maybe it. Cool. Yeah, it's it's one of one P1. The color is unique. The owner went directly to them and requested this color, which is very tricky to shoot because it looks different in different lighting situations. If you look here, I mean, yeah, this has been played with. All right, let's not make a lot of calls to the laptop. It's not going to load anytime fast. Thank you, James. Light painting. I mean, it really depends. Oh, this is the compressed file as well. It's not the final file, but yeah. Yeah, I recently had an experience shooting a light painting. Let me. That's a lot. Somewhere. Where is it? Yeah. Was it day 1, day 2? I think day 2. Was it day 2? No, sorry. Day 3. Yeah, it's kind of screwed up with the catalog here, but yeah. So this one is light painted. I just shot this very recently for Jaguar and Bahrain International Circuit. So I used Kirk's tutorials, automotivelightpainting.com. I have one of his tutorials on my channel. It's with the black Dodge. He explains the process. But if you head to automotivelightpainting.com, register there, he has free tutorials, and I used the same kit. I didn't use Ice Light. Instead, I used a cheaper one, which is the Godox YN 360 something. I swore I had it here. Yeah. This guy down here. So I used this with the modifier is all the way there. I'm not gonna go. It's a 60 by 60 softbox. So I had this inside. And you can see this was the process. There are different passes that you need to get, and he explains that very well. Plus, he shows you the post-processing behind it. The rest is just Photoshop magic. Of course, I took different exposures for the light, this down here. So let me find it for you. Light paint. There you go. That's the one. So once you log in, I can't recall my password right now, but once you join in, there is the tutorials down here. So he goes through the lighting equipment. This is exactly what I'm using, and the technique, the different passes, and then the layering and masking. There's a lot coming down as well. Sorry. I mean, I do have videos for Lightroom, which is I think this is the basics. It starts with how you do the global adjustments, or I forgot the name of it. But yeah, I do have 2 videos on Lightroom on how to, how to edit the car, so car photos in Lightroom, and I take you through each step. And I do actually offer a raw image that you can work with, and so you can just like follow along. Hola, Angelo. Photo manipulation, I'm not good at it, to be honest. I mean, I'm okay with it, but not super duper Mo. However, I do use manipulation. Sometimes when you do, I mean, it's always good to have the knowledge under your belt, knowing how to match colors, how to do rolling shots is fake rolling shots, something like this that I've been working on with Jaguar. So the car was stationary, and I used virtual reg to create these blurs on top of I mean, if I didn't know how to if I didn't know the knowledge, or I didn't have the knowledge of photo manipulation, I wouldn't have done this. It would have been very hard. I hope I make sense. Yeah, Angelo, it's going to be available offline. I'm gonna make sure it is there. What is the best way to remove reflections on body panels? Alex has a really good tutorial on that, but let me show it to you right here while we're here, because I've just used it. I mean, I used it a lot in different places. Hang on. Let me open this one up. Edit in Adobe Photoshop. Edit original. Yeah. There you go. Do you guys hear me clear? Do I need to increase the volume or anything? I'm surprised that you guys can hear me properly. All right, load it. Load it. Yeah, so light paint. So I think from this example down here, I use different tools, different techniques. I use the clone stamp tool at some instances, and some at others I use the brush tool and I brush them away. Let me hide. Let me just hide everything. All right, so I don't know if you see this. This is like a spot. And then this is a brush, so I brushed in to remove. And I think that is clone stamp tool. Yeah. So if I remove them, I'm gonna ignore this last one. There you go. It takes a bit of practice until you get the hang of it, so don't worry about it. Oh, what is missing? Yeah. What was that? Okay. Moving onwards. All right, so you can find a tutorial on this on Alex's channel. AT, you know ET? I mean, AT5 to 86. Sorry, E5 ET. Where is it? 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 Speed edit. All right, let's just go in. So how to remove reflections. Excuses ugly voice, but it's very, very, very useful. Let me paste it for you guys down here. There you go. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. Landing gigs with large companies. Just keep doing what you're doing. The more you do, the better you get. And the better you get noticed. It took me a while. It took me 3-4 years until... Is it 3-4 years? Can't recall. 2015, was it? Yeah. So build up a portfolio. Have some awesome photos, of course. That way you can always reach out to large companies. They hire you. You create your brand, self-branding kind of a thing. And yeah. Dominic! Here's Dominic. Dominic, I haven't heard from you for a while. That was a lie. All right. No, I'm not a pro, not yet. You see, if I'd say I'm a pro, that means I'm not gonna learn. I'm still learning, which is a good thing. And I got a pipe here. I'm trying to quit smoking. This keeps me busy. All right, so just used your tips and did a photo shoot for an hour. Oh, yeah. You're welcome. You liked the photographing black cars tutorial, wasn't it? Yeah. Thanks, buddy. I'm glad it worked out for you. You're welcome. My phone keeps on ringing. I did get a vape, yet it just didn't work out for me. I get acid reflux, and it's killing me. I can't sleep at night. Tried everything. It's getting better now, though. So, more about equipment. I'm not sure if I have anything else new. The most recent new thing is the iMac. So I bought this iMac. Made it easier for me to make tutorials without, you know, the fan kicking in the middle of the tutorial. It has better processor. Well, I'm not sure better processor, but better graphics card as well. Why am I showing this down here? I'm just missing the monitor. I think I'm gonna add an external monitor somewhere there, so I can have two windows when I do this. A friend of mine is calling. I'm gonna ignore him for now. Let me see if I can pull the was it the Ford? No. Is it P1? P1 show in Finder. It's going to take a while to load. I do give feedback when I do have time. I try my best to answer all of your questions, especially on Instagram, but sometimes I get too busy, whether I'm in a shoot or, you know, at work and with the family. I'm running out of time, so I try my best, and I don't want just to give a quick answer usually, but you know, time is usually against me. But yeah. 30 mm, is this for a crop sensor? 30? I mean, I do use the focal length 35, 40, 50 and above. I mean, let's see, this one I believe, it's loading, sorry. Yeah, the Jaguar one was at a focal length of 41 something, yeah. The thing is with fixed lens or prime lenses is you don't have that control, zooming in and out. The 24-105 is my favorite because I have all that focal length to play around with. Let me see what Dominic wants. Uh-huh. Interesting. I always thought you used Lightroom. No, I don't think you are missing out. I use it mainly for organizing and process the rows in it. Sometimes I do my final adjustments in Lightroom, so I don't have to open up a 2 point something gig file. So if I want to tone that final adjustments, I would always go back just to Lightroom, open it up, finalize it here, just like this photo, for example. Like if I want to, let's say, ruin the shot and pull the shadows up, I can do it right here instead of opening that huge file that is taking a lot of my time. Otherwise, I'm using it to organize my photos as well. And I'm thinking of actually moving to Capture One. I downloaded the Sony Pro one, but I still haven't. I didn't try it yet. Applying gels to LEDs should be fine. I think you can control most of the spell or the spell of the light using masks in Photoshop later on. So I don't see any issue with colors. I did hear of Affinity Photo, and honestly, they've approached me to give it a try, but I just didn't have the time to try it out yet. I would love to give it a try. Time is always against me. It's just like learning a new thing. But yeah. Although I'm seriously thinking of moving to Capture One. I think it's a better raw processing software than Lightroom or Camera Raw. All right, so for the 30mm on Canon, that's what equivalent to what? Is it 40, 50? Yeah, it should be fine. It should be fine. It should be fine. But again, I would always recommend getting a good zoom lens like the 24-105 that give you a good range. I'm not sure on the cropped sensor. I think that's 18-105, but I'm not sure about the quality of that lens as well. Also, I think you should look into Sigmas and Tamron if they have something equivalent with a better quality. Hey, thank you, Felix. I'm not quite sure. I don't know. I don't think so, but it really depends on how good you are at the end of the day. If you are super good, that shouldn't be a problem. I think the more you get your name out there, it's all about personal branding and what you do. Showing the world your photos and how good you are, really, race isn't a barrier. But again, I'm not sure about the United States and Europe. Damien, how you doing, buddy? All right, so this is quite tricky. Let me pull that up. So I'm using the Sony A7S right here. This is the Sony A7S, and I connected it to Elgato. I'm losing it. I can't recall. Hang on. Elgato something. Game capture. Is it game capture? No. Let's go to Elgato. No, it was the Camlink. Yeah. So I'm using this software. So this hardware. I'm connecting it with a what is it? HDMI output cable from the Sony. Connected it to my computer, and then I'm using OBS right here, so I can add. There you go. That's me. I can move myself around. I can make myself bigger, stuff like that. I used to use the built-in. You can use the built-in camera, but it doesn't give you a good quality like the A7S or the A7 III or the A7R. This is actually a 720p right now, just for the stream. This part down here. I think the rest is 1080 Full HD. Yeah, where is it? I would love to. Once, of course, once I get my hands on it, I'll definitely give you or do a tutorial on affinity photo, and maybe even capture one. Hello, Russia. I know a few words, but I forgot them. Mom and Dad, they studied there. Anytime, anytime. Privia. No, that's like, you're welcome. Or I'm okay. Never mind. Hi. All right, Kim. See you, buddy. Oh, Australia is 3:15 a.m. I mean, I'm gonna make this available later on, so don't worry about it. 750D or the Nikon? I don't know, to be honest. Not aware of these models. I did get the SL2, and I'll tell you why I got it though. The best advice that I would give you is go online and do the comparison thing, and it really depends on what are your needs. So when you select the camera, you go down to the basics. What do I need a camera for? Is it video, audio? So video, sorry. Yeah, video, photo. Do I need to add an external mic? Do I need a clean HDMI output? Do I need a, I don't know, certain dynamic range with it? Do I need slow motion? All of these, put in what you require in a camera and base your selection on that. So do that comparison, and then, yeah, then you'll figure it out eventually. So I got the SL2, and that's what I vlog with. It's very lightweight. I have the 10 to 18 on top of it. I'm loving it. For the quality, I mean, for the features, doesn't have 4K. I don't use 4K anyway, but has a dual focus, dual pixel autofocus for the video. It tracks my face perfectly. It's very quiet, and I can attach a microphone, and the colors are awesome. So I take it with the field if I need to show you something, like same way I did with the RS3 shoot. So yeah, I'm not sure about the 750 or the 850. You need to do that comparison yourself. How would I approach a car owner? I would race him. I'm just kidding. If I see a car somewhere, and if I get to meet the owner, hey, listen, dude, you have an awesome car, and I would love to shoot the car for you. Now, because you are approaching him, it would be very odd to ask him for money too. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. But if you are approaching a person and you want to build up your portfolio, you would just show him what you've done before. Like, hey, buddy, listen, I'm a car photographer, and I think you have an awesome car, and I would love to shoot it anytime, any day. Name it, I'll be there. Or bring the car at a certain location. Yep. You're welcome, Damien. How can you make a tutorial to make realistic shadows? I might do a tutorial, but I mean, I'm not the best guy to work with shadows. But I can tell you, I mean, I can give you this tip, right? Let me open up. Where was it? Hang on. Shadows. There are 3 shadows in every photo. Shadow number 1, which is the touch shadow. That's basically, I don't know if I can show it to you. So anything that touches the ground, right? Let's say this is the ground right now. There is a touch for shadow, which is which is very close to the subject as well. It's not far away, it doesn't fall off. There's the touching shadow, right? And then the next shadow is the ambient shadow, which is close to the car as well, and it's really blurred, very faded as well. And that's this. It's very, very light here. It's not showing out much. And then you have the long, depending on the lighting, of course, or the big shadow, and that's big shadow, fades away. It's a little bit blurred depending on the source of light. If it's a soft light, then the shadow becomes soft. If it's a harsh light, it's going to be harsh, and wouldn't be as long, given that you're shooting through the sun. And then you can see that I faded it away. So the further it goes, it fades away. Again, that's it happens. It depends really on the situation and the lighting that you have. Ooh, okay. I was working on this. Horrendous. All right, back to Photoshop. Yeah, that's the one. Let me see if you guys have more questions. Well, there you go, Felix. You got your answer. Have I worked on motorcycles? I've worked on one. I don't have it right here, but it was a light painting job. I think motorcycles are easier to work with, given that size of the bikes in comparison to a car, which has a lot of curves, huge, back and forth. With a single light source, you can have a strip box, a 1.4, 1x6 strip box on top of the bike, shoot down, and then you're done. Or do a light painting, passes, pass 1, pass 2, pass 3, and then merge them together. But yeah. I don't have the modifier here. We would have showed you the 1x4. It's quite big. Well, welcome, Angelo. Hi, thanks. Yeah, still working on it though. Do you ever use tone curve in Lightroom to tone and grade the images using other methods? I mean, what is it for grading part? I mean, it really depends on the grade. One thing I learned from video is when you shoot flat, all the colors kind of faded out, and then you can add the colors back. You can add your what is it called, the LUTs, and then grade on top of it. So I use a lot of tools. I use the color balance, and I have curves, channel mixer. I mean, I don't color grade a lot in Lightroom, to be honest. Most of the color grading happens here. You have the selective color, gradient maps. I injured my nose. What was it? What was it? Forgot the name of it. Color balance, yeah. So I use these 3-4 tools mainly to do that. Let me show you. So this is a B1 strobe right here. Someone was asking me about this earlier. Was it? Sorry. When masking in sections of lights, light on a car with the pen tool, use feather. It really depends on the situation. Most of the time, feathering is the right thing to do, because you want, even if the light from one to other location on the car is different. Let's say you have brighter tones, and then you have kind of not as bright. If you use a feather, it feathers that out, but you also need to adjust that with different tools, like curves or brightness or bringing the exposure down. I think I have my brush always on, 100% feather, soft. You're welcome, Donald. Car shows. Yeah, I mean, I get asked that a lot. I do have maybe a tutorial or two on that. So if you go to my channel, then go to videos. I mean, recently I worked on this one, which is a car show, and then where is it? Ah, yeah, there you go. Make it stand out. So you can see that I have a lot of things. I've got another car here, car to the left, car to the right, and then you got some poles in the background. I'll show you how to remove them as well in Photoshop. Check it out. I mean, you're really limited with car shows because, one, you don't control the time of the day, you don't control the lighting as much. I mean, you would carry a B1 or whatever, but really depends on the situation. You don't control the location, but you can always, it's a good place to network and find good cars. You can always just, approach them and say, hey, buddy, you got a nice P1. Let me take a photo of it. How about we go to this location and then we can shoot the car? And most likely people would say yes, because they'd like to see good photos of their car. I don't know what's wrong with the cuffs. Hello, Germany. TTS. Yeah, tone curves below. Yeah, they're really good. Do you use any specific settings for when exporting? No, really. With IG, I just export, I don't know, 85% of quality. It's a huge file. I mean, not a huge file. It's a good, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 MB file. And I can use it for anything. If someone wants me to email to him, or, at the end of the day, IG is going to compress it. So you might as well just give it the best quality, let them compress that out. Yeah, that's about it. Unless if I'm, of course, uploading for the web, it has to be really, really fast loading. I mean, especially when you are on a shared server. I don't know what's wrong. So see how fast these loads. You need it to be fast. So I always save it for the web. Can't recall the settings right now, but I have it on preset in my previous laptop somewhere. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Damien. Try to stay away from red. I think it's just Instagram that compresses red, blends it differently, different tones of red. Yeah. Well, Damien says, if you export it at 2048, it's perfect for Facebook, so it's perfect for all. Yeah, it's always good to give them more so they can condense it. I don't know if that works out. But some of the devices, like the Retina display, I'm not sure how they react I don't use iPhones. I'm not sure how they react to IG, or does IG actually gives. Actually, they should actually give that feature to them, right? I'll try and do more composites, but really, it's not my strength. I do have an idea that I need to work on. When I have the time, I'll definitely do that. Yeah, of course. It's you. If you are a photographer and you're really doing really good, it's really recommended. I really do recommend you to, get a domain name, put your work on it. Personal branding at the end of the day, it's more credible to for people to go in and see your yes, and see your work. Yes, there are a lot of sites like Behance and Adobe and other portfolio sites, but it's not as credible when you do have your own website as well. So you have your portfolio, your contact information, and basic information about what you do and who you are. Something maybe similar to this. It just, in my opinion, makes it more credible. I mean, I do have Behance. So here. Oh, this is nice. So I upload everything down here. Whatever I work on is down here. It's always good to also keep your portfolio up to date, so don't cut it. So he's the guy who's always late, and I don't like. Sometimes I get lazy. I don't upload stuff. There you go. Do I get paid recently? Yes. I do have some paid jobs. Took a while though. It took about 2 or 3 years for it to happen. Eventually, it's going to happen. If you're looking at it as a money or a source of income. But once the first thing you need to do is actually get better at it, be really good in car photography, build up your portfolio, do a lot of I don't want to say a lot of free stuff, but give them a good value. Like if you do a job and you're required to retouch 5, if you're starting out, give them more, show them that you're open for business, and they keep coming back to you until you are like an ace. Then you set your own rules. Oh, so it's an iPhone thing. It's an iPhone thing, yeah. I don't know. I find everything's cool on my Samsung. I don't have problems with colors. Tips for putting a price. Don't do it by photo. If I would give you a tip, don't do it on photo. If the client comes and says, I want, let's say, 5 photos, don't price it based on the quantity, because every photo is different. One photo would take you collectively a day to shoot, edit, and retouch, and some might take even more. Some might take you 3-4 hours to shoot, especially when you combine light painting, strobing, day to night, night to day, kind of thing. So base it on the amount of hours that you're going to spend on creating. Find your hourly rate. And I think there are a lot of sites, forums, that will give you good advice on how much your hourly rate should be, depending on your level as well. But yeah, never price it based on yeah, I need 5 photos. This is how much it's gonna cost. Because it's not just about the photo. It's just really how much does it take to make that photo. Let me show you a bit of how this was shot. It's all about masking. So yeah. Was it? Yeah. Lots of masks in here. Lots of reflection to be removed. I think that these are for the lights, yeah. Actually, I like it better when it was like so. Need to fix that. That's a contrast. Retouched a few things on the ground. I have this bad habit of not naming my layers, and then when I come back to them, I was like, what did I do here? And sometimes it's a very small thing. So another tip, just keep on, you know, naming your layers, retouching the floor or something. Ground floor or whatever. Vignettes. Channel mixers. It's the same thing with this one as well. So now that I look at it, I'm not liking the color. Yeah. So let me show you how it was shot. So what do I have here? I do have a Profoto B1. That's my friend Zainal, by the way. Profoto B1 with a 1x4 strip box. So you take this photo is, you know, you do it gradually, just like a step by step. It's just like light painting, but a bit different. Didn't like the white balance of these. Not even with this. But yeah. I think it's it came down a bit dark, but you can see that I was trying to hide the floor. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I need to get back to this and redo it. You see here also I have a straight line, so I drew that with one of the tools. Yep. How long? Ooh. I mean, it took me some time because I had to redo it as well. If I show you the files, hang on. Okay. Was it the Ford? It's actually in a hard disk. All right, let me show you the thought process or what I've done here. So this is how the light looks like with the zoom reflector modifier. And I didn't go for it because it was so hard to remove reflections that looks like the starburst. So I took a few shots. Might have some. Must have used a might. I don't think so. But I thought, let's just go with the other modifier. I mean, I liked how the light looks here, but it's too hot as well. This one is good. This one's like really good, but I don't have lines. It's out of definitions. So then I changed from a zoom reflector to a strip box. And then I've noticed that it doesn't look as good when it's closer to the car. So I raised it with a light stand. And I don't know, where are the photos? Interesting. Yeah, there you go. The light is just softer, cleaner. I can keep this just the way it is. I have nice lines going through the car. Again, it's subjective. The more you spend time working on the car, retouching, the better it gets. Not all the time, not always, but usually it does. Alright, this is the tutorial that one of you asked about. So this is the before, this is the after, and I know I changed the color of the car because I like this yellow, and it's okay to do that in this instance because it's not really for a client. It was just me trying things. It really depends about critiques. Again, time, and I'm not really good at it, criticizing other photos, but sometimes I do that on my Instagram account. But good idea. I might do that as well. I might do that. I don't know what's the default. I think it's the sRGB. I never touched anything other than that, really. Did you try something else other than sRGB? I do have a lot of tutorials on editing in Photoshop, but you have really to be very specific. The thing is, the way I learned Photoshop is by watching YouTube videos of fashion, beauty retouching, and that's how I learned Photoshop. And then I applied what I knew about Photoshop in on car photography. Learn is a good channel to learn from, but there are a lot more channels nowadays. So you can learn Photoshop and then try to use that knowledge in car photography. And if you combine what you learn about Photoshop with what I'm providing you in terms of tutorials, then it becomes easier for you. Learn is a very good channel to start with. What is a zoom reflector? This is a zoom reflector. I don't know if you see it. It's a silver reflector. Just it focuses the light instead of having it just with a bare bulb. Intensifies as well. That's why it's called a zoom reflector. Some cases they call it just silver reflector. With the Profoto they have this, and they have the Magnum reflector, which is another kind as well. Hey Dan. Thanks. I'm glad you liked the shot. Yeah, the rare one was really good. This one. And this one is very simple. You see my softbox here. This is the 1.1x4 Profoto. Yep, there you go. I just removed it at post. There are of course alternatives to Profoto if it's very expensive. Godox is really good. Another name for Godox is what? Flashpoint, Newer. They have a lot of names. But yeah, the AD600 Pro, for example, is really powerful. Very powerful. And it's less expensive. Library. Again, this is I've used the same softbox here, the 1x4 for this shot. The only thing is, and I have to be honest, I didn't notice this when I shot the car. My CPL filter wasn't adjusted properly. So anyway, I kept it there. I didn't want to go through the process of brushing things in and out. But yeah, another mistake in this is another shot. We did it again the same way. It's like so. The problem with this shot is I didn't get an exposure of a rim light of the car, so it's very pitch black on the top. What is my favorite car? Very hard to tell. I don't know. I've always loved Porsches, so must be the GT3 RS or something. If I would say an R8 as well would be very nice. I mean, there are a lot of awesome cars. The other day I asked the question on Instagram, and I asked people like, what is, if there was like one car that you'd like to shoot, what would it be? And boy, it was the first time I hear about all of these cars, supercars that I haven't heard of before. Trust me, I haven't heard of before. How do I use the mask tool? It's again, there are a lot of tutorials out there, but it's pretty straightforward. Let me show it to you. Let's open up a new one. And I think my Photoshop is dying right now. Let's say I don't have my pen tool right now, but I'm just going to use the keyboard. So let's say I drew this nice snake track. I don't know. And now I want to remove this part. There are a lot of ways to remove this. One of them is the eraser tool. I can come down here and erase everything, but unfortunately it's set to black. Let's redo that. Let's redraw the snake. I hate using the mouse. I got used to the... Now it looks like something else. Alright, let's go to the eraser tool and erase part, like so. And then you erase this, and then you continue to work, right? You erase parts. But then in the middle of the photo, and you go like, oh my God, I shouldn't have erased it. And you can't go back to it. So the other way of doing so is applying a mask. You see down the icon down there, that's a mask. And that's going to give you a white mask. A white mask reveals, a black one hides. Reveal hides, and I'm just inverting right now. It's Control I. So with a white mask and a black brush, I can do the same thing with erasing. So here, I'm erasing it right now. The good part, however, if you missed a spot or if you did something wrong, you can always flip the brush color and then paint it back. And this is the simplest way of telling you what a mask is. And excuse my my art. There is a hi Mula. It's good to see you here. There's there's actually one that I would really recommend. Work flow. Yeah. This guy, amazing. This guy's brilliant. Simple things, nothing expensive. Things that you can do on your own as well. Workflow. Let me. Sorry about the ads.
Saying I'm running through my workflow for photographing a simple item. No fancy cheeses, no fancy wines. We're going to shoot some deodorant. And, you know, the way we're going to approach this is just
let me paste his channel. I think you should follow him. He's awesome. Where is it? Yep, down here. I also follow. I don't know if you're into video, DSLR shooter. That's a DSLR shooter. Caleb? Yep. That's Caleb. He's amazing. I've learned a lot of the video stuff from him. And you should follow him. It's my wife. Hang on. Online goddess every video. Hi. Okay. Cool. Bye. So, yeah, that was in Arabic. DSLR video shooter. Who else? I mean, I do have them there. Yeah. Ones for Photoshop. Damien is awesome. Brian Francesco. ET85. Alex. Shooting Dave. Prince Mason as well is good. Oh, this guy, I can't spell or pronounce his name. But he's good too. We got Jeremy Cliff, but he doesn't upload as often. I need to create another video just about these guys and why am I following them. But yeah, Alirfai, good friend of mine. But that's in Arabic if you want to learn Arabic as well. Yep, that's about it. How did I get in touch with that? Hang on. I see. Yep. Exactly, that's the Explorer 600. That's one of them. Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Makes my day. How did I get in touch with Audi? Funny. Um, I bought a car from Audi. That's how I got in touch with them, kind of a thing. But not really. They gave me the S3 to shoot it for a day, and I ended up buying it. So it was really a bad strategy. But yeah. I mean, that's how I got into, it's all about networking. You need to network, so it's the same thing with Porsche. I knew someone in Porsche, and that's how I worked with them in several occasions. I do have a project coming up with them soon, I guess, too. The same thing with BIC. At the end of the day, you need to put your work out there for people to see it. You need to network, get to know people, self-branding, and so on and forth. Jaguar, yeah. It's the F-Type. Is this like your favorite car? Yeah, I do photograph a lot for Audi. They're cool. I love Audi. The guys there, they're brilliant. And they give me cars, I get to keep them on a weekend, sometimes more. I think I do have a tutorial on how I shot this, so do check that out. I can't remember which modifier. By the way, these shots were taken by a 1DX Mark II. So, nice colors as well. I don't like this edit, to be honest. But this one turned out really well. I do have a tutorial on that one too. And yep. See if I have the Lambo Maxima McLaren. Yeah, you've seen that. Seen these. I've seen these too. This is I think this was taken with the that's taken with the 85. Remember the first lens or the last lens that I showed you? The 85 detail. Nice bokeh. Just testing it out. Thank you, Charles. How do I pick locations? I do have a list of locations that I think that they are really good. And I, depending on what I'm shooting, I would take the car to that location. We're limited in Bahrain in terms of locations. There aren't as much or many. Plus, our weather is really hot and humid nowadays, especially, what is it? It's August. You're breathing water right now. I thought I'd say I'd stay here for an hour. How long? How long have I been? Ooh, an hour and 50 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna stay a little bit more. But yeah, back on locations. I just have a list of locations in my head. The ones that sometimes I'm out with friends, sometimes I'm out with family, sometimes I'm just out. When I see a location, I would say this would be a really nice place to photograph a car. Now, with photographing anything in particular, especially cars, because you need, that space in between the car. I think with this is the busier the background is, the busier the photo would look. So always look for, even if it was busy, sometimes busy is good, but busy with a pattern would look really awesome. If there isn't a pattern in the background, then you have a big problem. Let me show you some of my projects. Like this is one of the backgrounds closer to one of the point of interest. You can see there's the pattern here. Something is roll and go, and then it just like draws your eyes towards the end, and you have this. This wasn't like the best location, to be honest, but I shot it anyway because they wanted it that way. Another one is next to a restaurant, which is this one, and it's a white car. It's a Maxim. It's not a supercar, so it's not as interesting as a supercar. But you see, I have a pattern here. It's kind of busy, but the patterns help. And kind of hit that as well with behind the sun flare. There are patterns. There are lines that follows. But if it was like garbage at the back in the background, then it's gonna be garbage anyway. And the same thing with this. I don't know where the Nissan Kicks files are, but I think they are at my other hard disk. My other hard disk. Interesting. Where's my other hard disk though? Let me see. Dumpster. That's a nice hard disk name. One is old. When I started learning Lightroom, I think I bought some video tutorials from Serge Ramieli. You can look that up. Mylar photos. And junk. There you go. Kicks. I need to add it here. I still didn't add dumpsters there. Did I? Going to take some while to load. It's 43 megs of file. Sorry about that. I'll show it to you some other time. Oh, there you go. So this is not the final shot, or not the final photo, but you can see it's busy. I did some Photoshop. I removed, as if you're going to see that, but yeah. So I removed this, these elements here. I think I removed, I can't recall if no, I kept this. I think I just removed this part, retouched the photo, made it darker a bit, and then brighter with the sun coming down. Darker down here, so everything that just like draws the attention to the car, nothing else but the car. Of course, I retouched these, and this dude just insisted. He sits there while I'm shooting, but yeah, thank God for Photoshop. And I lit the other ones up. Fine, I'm gonna open it up. Oh yeah, what? What was that? Oh, my heart. Yeah, got damaged somehow. Right, there are some JPEGs. Oh yeah, that's like, look at me, I'm trying to light paint. This one is the AD360, by the way. Yeah, the AD. Yeah. Where is it? Somewhere. The AD360 is a Godox flash strobe. It's somewhere. I'll have it right here, right now. Oh, there you go. I'm too lazy. I'm gonna just scroll. Oh, yeah. There you go. Sorry about that. This is the AD360, and this is what you're looking at the moment. You can see me holding it with one hand. The expression on my face. Like, please work. Please work. It was very hot. Humid. But yeah. That's another location. Let me just close some files in Photoshop. It's becoming too heavy. I'll come back to you. I'll keep this one on just in case we needed it. Yep. Where was I? Sorry guys, I forget usually what I was doing. Okay, yeah. There you go. Don't think I finished working on this one. I just didn't like the location. However, I do have other locations that are better. Something is wrong. I need to check it out later on. That's another location. That was next to a coffee shop. And you can see that the sun is out already. And I did have to do some Photoshop to make this like go away. But you can see that there is a pattern in the background again. You have patterns. Trees. I know it's growing a tree right here, but still it's a pattern here. Just something that is not too visually noisy. I don't know. I hope that was clear. You didn't miss a lot. Well, I mean, I spoke a bit about the lenses, but you can always go back to this video because it's going to be available for you to rewatch. Just spoke a bit about some lenses that I bought and broke my bank. Morning light or sunset hours. The kicks were in morning lights. Sunset hours as well. I do both. If I wanted warmer photos, I would go for sunsets. If I wanted more naturally nice, good balanced tone, I would go in the mornings. Yeah, leading lines, patterns on repetitive. Any tips for getting cars? I was just telling the guys, you know, when you go to an event, a network, you need to network with those who owns the really cool, nice photos, cars. Sorry, not photos, but they want good photos. So that's the way you go to car events, and you will have a lot of competition. So you better have like something nice to show them. Hey, listen, this is my work, and I would love to shoot your car. Or go for a test drive. Get their car, photograph it, and get it back. That could be a good way of doing it. Yeah. Blue Lambo. What blue Lambo? Do we have blue Lambo? Okay. No, it's not a top secret material. I mean, well, I try and show you everything in my tutorials. And again, it's the same thing. I have a tutorial similar to this in another video, and I do supply the row whenever I could, so you guys can follow along. I'm pretty sure there was another one. Shooting black cars. Yeah, I mean, you've seen that before. This was for the Ramadan shoot. This was a really black car. This was a pain in the ass. Oops, sorry. It was a pain in the neck. Um, it just didn't reflect light. I do have a tutorial on how I ended up with this one, at least. I was just losing my mind. Yeah, it's remotely trying to load this photo. So that's one. I just saw one. I just can't recall where I saw it. Lambo. Yeah, I see the Lambo. So I do have a tutorial on how I shot this. Not this photo, but where's the end result? There, on this one. It was shot with the Godox 8200. There's a whole video just showing you how it was shot. It's available on my channel. But it's missing. Right now it's missing the, no, is it missing? I think it's missing some of the shots. I think I missed them when I moved around. No, there you go. Yeah, there they are. So that one is available on my channel as well. The LMS. Yeah, I do have, again, track photography, on-track photography, like these rolling shots that I took for Audi. I don't have them all maybe here, but I do have a video in which I talk about my experience. And in that video, there's a lot of behind the scenes as well, like me in the car. And I go, you know, go through everything, like from camera settings to how I shot them, and then another video on how I edited most of these photos. Check the video out. Not this one, it was another one. Let me show it to you. It's, where is it? Yeah, rolling shot tips. So 8 rolling shot tips with examples. Check out this video on the track. It's really helpful. It has a lot of information. Nothing secret in there. Spelled it all out. So. All right, one tip about light. I never, ever, I'm gonna say it just once. I would never, ever photograph a car if the sun was behind me. That flattens out the car. The light source should always, and even when I'm strobing, will never strobe the car when the strobe is behind me. Strobe should, or the sun should be either behind the car, on the side of the car, preferably at a different angle of shooting. The car is here. Here's my model. Which one would you prefer? I do have a light as well. Actually, since we're doing this, let me I don't know how let me see if that's going to be very clear anyway. If I'm going to shoot the car this way, I can't see myself. It's going to be very flat. I don't think it's enough. Let me get the sorry, too late. There you go. So this is the car. It's flat. Doesn't have shadows. I have blown out the car. No shadows at all. Right? But look when I do that. start seeing shadows. I don't know if you see that. It's the same thing here. If I point it down this way, it's flat. I don't know. I don't know if I'm looking at it right now. It might be overexposed. But if I do that, it's dusty. And you see shadows, right? So never ever shoot shoot a car when the light source is behind you, aiming at the car. It flattens everything out. It's just so bad. Everything becomes flat, and then you don't have any detail in the car. It becomes like I don't know. Something broke. Thank you, Nico. Thank you. Never too late, Elmer. You can always rewatch the video. Behind steps on shooting old timers. I'm gonna shoot BMW Z1 in the Alps. In the Alps. Can I join? You know, it's a dream to go there and actually shoot in the Alps. I love that location. Old timers. I mean, if you're shooting full body, it should be just fine. I mean, I shot one a long time ago. It wasn't the best shot, to be honest, but I don't know if I have it here. Yeah, there you go. Shot this 2016 November. Was just learning about light and strobe. See, it's very hot down here. But that's like in my garage, so it was okay. It was so hard to get the light down here without getting shadows from these poles. But I learned a lot from this shot. But if it's really, whenever you shoot any car, the first thing you need to know is what kind of color. Like this color reflects light really well. The color as well, it reflects light and color. So that's really good. You can see the details. But when you get dark cars, they don't reflect. It's just they're harder to work with. If Alex was around, he would tell you more about black cars. I hate shooting black cars. I do have a video though on how to shoot black cars. Luke, light reflectors. What kind of reflectors are we talking about? Is this just like the reflector to fill the shadow areas? I mean, I don't use them a lot. Maybe I've used it once or twice. Nowadays, cameras, unless if you want to create reflection on the car. But nowadays, cameras dynamic range are really good, especially the new Sony. It has really good dynamic range. What LED I use? I use ice light, but to be honest, after this shot, I think I'm gonna stick with. Really depends as well. It really depends on what you're shooting. Where is it? So I didn't use ice light for this. I used. You guys seen my light? The one I showed you earlier? It was somewhere here. Interesting. Oh, okay, so anyway, I don't know where I kept the light. It's somewhere down here. but I use the Yongnu. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, so Yongnu. It's the YN 300. So I use the YN 300. I think it's you, the modifier. Just give me a minute. I'm back. So this is the modifier. It's a 60 by 60s modifier, whatever call it. Attached this inside, and I had the battery at the back, and I stuck the battery into this from the inside, and then I used a stand or pole boom to light paint with. Don't break. Difference between Camera Raw and Lightroom. I think they are the same. Lightroom, however, is good for cataloging your photos. It's like a library. Yes and no. I present Dominic to you guys. If you're not following Dominic, you need to follow Dominic. He's amazing. But yeah, that was crazy from Dominic. Dom, what you doing, dude? And then I have Damien. So Damien Plisko, both Damien, Dominic, and Alex. I have videos on my YouTube channel, collaborated with them, so go check them out and do follow them. So where were we? Yeah, light painting black cars. So Kirk from Light Painting, this tutorial down here. So if you
GAC Motec GS.
Yeah, I know you told me to get that. You're seeing two of the Moes. That's a problem.
Used in this photo.
So if you follow this tutorial, he actually photographed the black car with he light painted a black car. And the way, and you'd notice the black car has these light streaks from, that's odd just seeing two of me. Yeah, light streaks from the light painting. So if it's black, if it's a black car and you're photographing it at night, if it doesn't reflect anything, you wouldn't be able to see it. You need to have these light streaks or a bit of reflection of something. They are very difficult. Difficult black cars. Difficult to shoot, especially at night. Everyone looks at saturation differently. So some of us just, it's a subjective thing. Some of us might think a photo is overly saturated, and some. Did I teach a Russian photographer? No, I don't know. I don't speak Russian, so I wouldn't know. So far, so good. I use it all the time, depending on the grade. I think I've used it here in this shot. Let me see. can't recall though. Selective color. I think I see that I've used it here as well for the whites. Load. Oops. But yeah, I mean, I did do select. This is the compressed version. I used it just for to bring the whites in the car. So if you look closely, if I turn that off, it's pale, and then that brings up the white. The way you do it is you go to the the whites, and then put all the sliders to the left, yellow, magenta, cyans, and that gives you like more white. But I also use it in color grading, but I can't think of an example right here. It's always good to select a certain color to play around with its values. Thank you, Anandu. That's so kind of you. Love back from Bahrain. Yeah, I use selective colors a lot. Selective color, and if I'm not mistaken, I've used it. Where's the P1? P1, yeah. P1. So in this, most likely I've used selective color a lot in this photo. It's loading up. It's quite red. Let's go, Damien. It's a red photo. It's not good for Instagram. There you go. Yeah. Full photo. Let me see if I can edit that without any problem. I don't want to make it in red, but the owner wanted me to create a red field, so I did. Let me show it to you. Gonna take some time to load. I think it's loading off my laptop. Gonna take some time. Meanwhile, let's see if you guys. Yeah, I don't shoot a lot of portraits, but yeah, it's very important. Look. So again, I moved from my laptop to an iMac, and I'm loading everything from my laptop. It's crazy. How to make shadows darker without affecting the rest of the image? I mean, if the entire image has darker tones, then you would certainly affect it. The way you would do that is isolating that area. So you would either isolate through a mask. That's something that I would do, depending on the photo in the selection. So you can always just add a mask, create a new layer of your adjustment, apply to that area through a mask, and you're off. This way you wouldn't affect the rest of the tones. I'm using this, so this is like the light painting, the car Automotive. You can, if you want, go ahead. If it's a useful resource, why not? Share my success story. I don't know if it's a success, yet. But yeah, I mean, I started a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, 3-4 years ago. 3, 4, I lost the count. I had some really awesome not photos. And the only way to get better is to set a standard that you want to reach to, and you just experiment and photograph. And that's what I did. So every weekend when I'm free, I would go and shoot out the cars. So past 2 years, I haven't gone anywhere else than shooting cars on weekends. And I know it's boring life, but that's the only time that I have to shoot cars, and I dedicated it to this. So it requires a lot of dedication as well. Me, I do have a full-time job as a marketer, and I do have a family as well. So I have I'm married. I do have a kid and a daughter, a boy and a girl. Basically, my full-time job is taking the most of my time. It's, you know, the 9 to 5, 8 to 4, or more. So this loaded. Let me show it to you. You just first I fixed the car down here, and they were, again, I've used a CPL filter to cut down the reflection. If you don't know how to use CPL filters, I do have a video on my channel explaining it. Then I thought it was just too bright, darkened it. Did the same thing for the wheel, another exposure for the wheel, and then did a little bit of dodging and burning. I don't know if you see this. You definitely see this. That's dodging and burning around the car. I do have a video on that too. I think one of my first videos. I then, yep, just copied the area of the grass and tried to patch it here and there. Became soft in some places, but then I use smart filters. So if I go to camera raw, filter, let it load, and I believe I changed the blue primary. See how that changes everything? Amazing, huh? And same thing with the green. So, and if I go to, yeah, so I changed the hues as well, down the yellows first. It's kind of the same way of doing selective color, but different. And then I patched it more. Just didn't like how soft it looked. Channel mixer to desaturate. Color balance to give it that tone. This was focusing on the reds, but I didn't want the red. First I went with the yellows, and then I added a color lookup. I think that's one of my LUTs. Yeah, more warm. And then a Kodak LUT to finish it off with. This is for the reds, but yeah. Yellow on the car. I just thought I had a lot of yellow in the car, and I just wanted to match it with the reds when I had the red part. So if I change this from yellow to reds, there you go. So that's the red, and that's the yellow. I love the yellow, to be honest. I prefer these tones. What do I have a degree in? I am, you'll be amazed. Computer science. I'm a bachelor, and I do have a bachelor degree in computer science. Very odd, yeah. Yeah, you do need, if you progress, of course, it's a certain time when you progress. If you reach to the, if you've reached the learning curve of your camera, then yes, you need to change. Let's take again, Jimmy Zhang. Jimmy Zhang had a low-end camera, yet his photos were awesome. And then when he reached the limit of the camera, then he moved to another camera. (24:105) workhorse, wide, semi-wide angle to 105, which is a good zoom range on a full frame sensor. I wouldn't settle for anything else. If I had to take one lens with me, I'm traveling and that's it, going to carry just one lens, it's going to be this 24-105 104. It's my baby. It's my baby. Oh boy, it's almost 2 hours. I just wanted to talk to you for an hour. That's a lot. I would love to come down to the United States. One day I would. Hopefully, I have to see the United States once at least. It takes about, I don't know, 14 hours? Technically a day. Or more. 60D is a good camera. Whenever I'm in whenever I do fly to the United States, I'll definitely let you guys know. Last month I was in the United Kingdom and I met Johnny Pierce. Wanted to meet the rest of the guys, but they weren't around. Alex was busy as well. (60D is a good camera, but again, you need to, I think I spoke about this earlier, see what you want from a camera first before buying the camera. Do you want it more towards video? Do you want 4K? Do you want a specific thing? I don't know. List down these things, and based on that, you select the camera. I opted in for the A7. The reason why I sold the A7R II is I wanted to get back to video. The A7 III has a good balance of video photo. It has good tones, good video, good feature, 120 frames per second, slow motion, image stabilization, has a better battery, has a better grip. The movie recording button is at the right place. It has a good dual slots, dual slots bays that I can, add 2 cards if I wanted to. It's perfect fit. This is like me. This is like works perfectly for me. Passion. Definitely passion. Yeah, we were just talking about that. I'm just not sure how to approach that as well. I don't know, one, if I do have the time. 2 is I'm not sure how to approach it. Like, how am I going to receive all these photos, and how much photos am I going to receive? And I have to be very selective. I don't want to upset anyone in terms of why didn't you select my photos, and stuff like that. But yeah, I think I'll have it a go. I'll think of something. I'll do that soon. Well, send it over to Instagram, and I'll have a look. I'll try my best to have a look. Yeah, sure. All right, boys. I think that was amazing. DM me, Luke. Sure. I came here just for an hour, and I spent 2 hours. It's amazing. I really do enjoy talking to you guys. I was supposed to shoot today to create a tutorial for Sunday, but the weather was so horrendous. It was like 45, 46 degrees. And the problem is in the humidity. You just can't breathe when you go outside and shoot. You're welcome, James. If you guys have any questions, please do leave them in the comment. I will answer them in the next session. Trying to again get back to going live. That way it's easier to commit to it. Like, I think Friday is a good day. At the same time, instead of doing it like on Saturday or Sunday. You're welcome, Angelo. That's great. Photo pills, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll speak about that app in some other time, but definitely we'll keep it. Thank you, Walter. Thank you, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know you've been seeing this all the time, but if I had 2 monitors, it would have been easier. I'll see you in the next live feed. I'm not sure if I'm recording tomorrow's tutorial, but definitely would do. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy your evening, and do enjoy your weekends too. Some of you are sleeping, some of you are going to bed, some of you are just about to go out. Whatever you do, keep up the good work and enjoy it to the max. All right, I'm out. I even forgot how to stop the feed. I was lying. There you go. Stop.